You are not building that structure in this neighborhood.
Then maybe this neighborhood doesn't get a vote.
You can't just remove yourself from the HOA.
I didn't remove myself. Your own paperwork did that.
What if I told you that a single missing comma in my neighborhood's founding charter gave me the power to secede? They denied my building permit, so I decided to fire my HOA by annexing myself into a different zone. And when their attorney finally realized what I had found, he stopped talking mid-sentence, looked at the board, and just said, "You need to drop this, now." I still remember the look on Linda Mercer's face. This woman had spent 8 months telling me what I could build, where I could stand, and how my own backyard was supposed to look. Then, in one emergency meeting, her whole expression changed. She went from smug to confused to dead silent. Because the same property she'd been threatening to fine for months, it wasn't actually under HOA jurisdiction in the first place. But to understand how we got here, I need to take you back to the day they told me no. I live in a neighborhood called Cedar Hollow Preserve. It's one of those places that looks peaceful from the outside. Clean sidewalks, decorative lamp posts, matching mailboxes, a little pond with ducks that somehow always makes it into the listing photos. And then you move in and realize the whole place runs on fear. Not crime, not danger, just the HOA. The board president, Linda Mercer, acted like she wasn't running a neighborhood association. She acted like she was managing a private kingdom. Late 60s, perfect blowout, red nails, white Lexus RX, clipboard in the passenger seat like she was on patrol. I'm not exaggerating. More than once, I saw her stop her SUV in the middle of the street just to stare at somebody's yard. If your garbage can stayed visible for an extra hour, she noticed. If your mulch was the wrong shade of brown, she noticed. If your holiday lights were still up on January 3rd, she definitely noticed. And for the first year, I kept my head down. I paid my dues, I followed the rules, I smiled at the meetings. I figured if I stayed reasonable, they'd stay reasonable too. That was my first mistake. Because all I wanted to build was a detached workshop behind my house. Nothing crazy. A 22 by 28 structure, same siding color as my home, same roof pitch, same shingles. I even paid a designer $1,800 to make sure it matched the neighborhood style. I wasn't trying to put up a warehouse. I just wanted a clean little workshop with storage downstairs and a quiet office loft over it. And the second Linda saw the plans, everything changed. If you've ever dealt with a power trip in HOA, hit like right now, because trust me, this story gets way worse before it gets better. The first denial came by email. 3 sentences. Application rejected. Accessory structure not in harmony with community aesthetic. Board declines to reconsider at this time. That was it. No real explanation, no design changes requested, no suggestion, just no. So I did the normal thing. I stayed calm. I emailed back, thanked them for reviewing it, and asked what specific changes would make it acceptable. Linda replied 12 hours later with one line. Approval is unlikely under any revision. That's when I knew this wasn't about the building. It was about control. I still gave them one more chance. I showed up to the next meeting with printed elevations, material samples, even the exact paint swatch, Sherwin-Williams Drift of Mist. Because yes, I had already matched the trim to my house. Linda didn't even look at half of it. She just folded her hands, smiled at me like I was a child, and said, "If we approve yours, everyone will want one." I said, "That's usually how property rights work." Bad move, because 2 days later, I got a warning letter taped to my front door saying I initiated unauthorized site activity. My unauthorized site activity? 2 orange survey flags. That's it. 2 little flags in my own backyard. And that letter included a threat. If I continued development behavior, the HOA could impose fines of $100 a day. For flags, that's when I stopped trying to win them over and started trying to figure out what they were so afraid of. And then I heard something from my next door neighbor that changed everything. My neighbor, Greg, had lived there since the subdivision opened. He leaned over the fence one night and said, "You know the last owner of your house fought with them too, right?"
That got my attention real fast. Apparently, the previous owner had tried to extend the back patio years ago, and the board had blocked him so hard he gave up and moved. But Greg said something else that stuck with me. He said, "Linda always gets weird about your lot, like weird. I asked him what that meant. He said one time at a meeting, I heard her tell the property manager that parcel has always been complicated. Complicated. That word sat in my brain like a splinter. So that night, instead of watching TV, I opened my laptop and started digging. County GIS maps, recorded plats, old subdivision filings, municipal boundary records, tax assessor overlays, anything with my parcel number on it. And around 1:14 in the morning, staring at a faded county map from the early 2000s, I saw it. A thin, blank strip behind my property. Everything around it was shaded. My lot, the road, the common area, the neighboring phase. But this skinny slice? Nothing. Just white. A literal white hole in the map. At first, I thought it was a scan error. Then I found the same strip on a second map, and a third. That's when my heart started pounding. Because if that strip had never been properly folded into the subdivision, then maybe my lot hadn't been either. Real question, if you found out your HOA might not actually control your property, would you keep it quiet or would you go full detective mode? Tell me in the comments. And trust me, what I found next was even better. The next 2 weeks, I was in full obsession mode. I was pulling century-old survey references, comparing deed chains, and reading incorporation documents like I was cramming for the bar exam. That's when I found the document that cracked the whole thing open. It was the supplemental declaration that supposedly annexed my section of the neighborhood into the HOA 25 years ago. And right there in the legal description was the mistake. One missing comma. Tiny, easy to miss, absolutely devastating. Because of the way that sentence was recorded, the developer had properly annexed the surrounding lots, but not the tract where my house was later replatted from. In plain English, the board had spent years acting like my lot belonged to the HOA because it sat inside the neighborhood visually. But legally, the recorded description didn't cleanly pull my parcel in. They were policing me based on assumption, habit, and intimidation, not authority. Now, I'm not the kind of person who finds one weird document online and starts declaring independence in my backyard. So I called a land use attorney. His name was Daniel Hu, and after I sent him the maps, the plats, the declaration, and my deed, he got very quiet. Then he said, "I think you have something." That may be the most beautiful sentence I've ever heard. He explained it to me like this. Best case, my lot had never been properly subjected to the HOA covenant in the first place. Second best case, the boundary defect and that incorporated strip gave us enough leverage to file a de-annexation and boundary correction petition under current state law and force the county to recognize my parcels separately for permitting. Either way, the board had a problem. And then the HOA made the dumbest move they could have possibly made. They escalated. Instead of backing off, Linda sent me a formal violation notice claiming I was attempting unapproved construction preparations. No construction had started. No concrete, no lumber, no crew, nothing. Just paperwork and survey stakes. Then they scheduled an enforcement hearing. That's when I told Daniel not to argue emotionally, not to rant, not to threaten. He said, "We're going to hand them the rope and let them pull." So before the hearing, we sent the HOA a demand package. It included the old survey maps, the municipal white hole records, the flawed annexation exhibit, my title documents, and a letter saying that if they continued enforcement, we would seek a declaratory ruling that my parcel fell outside their recorded jurisdiction. We also filed a county petition to route my building review through the adjacent service zone that actually touched the parcel boundary. That's the part people now joke about when they say I annexed myself out of the HOA. Technically, I forced the county to treat my lot like the legal outlier it had always been. And once that happened, the HOA's permit veto stopped mattering. But Linda didn't know that yet. At the hearing, she looked straight at me and said, "This board does not recognize internet theories." Internet theories. I had a land use attorney, recorded plats, county exhibits sitting in a binder so thick it barely closed, and she called it internet theories. So I slid the binder across the table and said, "That's fine, the county recognizes them." You could feel the room change. Their attorney, a guy named Mark Feldman, who had been looking bored for most of the meeting, finally started turning pages. Then he flipped faster, then slower. Then he stopped completely on the annexation page. And that was the moment we knew we had them. If you like smart revenge more than loud revenge, subscribe right now, because this is where the whole thing starts collapsing. And what happened next shocked even me. 3 days later, the HOA called an emergency board meeting. That never happens unless somebody is panicking. I walked in, and for the first time since this whole mess started, Linda wouldn't look at me. Mark, the HOA attorney, did all the talking. He said that after reviewing the chain of title, the recorded declarations, the county boundary exhibits, and the pending petition, the board should suspend all enforcement actions related to my parcel immediately. Suspend. Not because they were being generous, because they suddenly